be able to access that retrospectively right there. But that really was talking about finding that midpoint, right? So the polarity and that we see around us, it kind of like it's out there. What we got to do is find the midpoint, right? Find that point of divine neutrality where you're not getting drawn into the drama, which is the test. Okay, so finding the balance and harmony. Now, it's a journey. It's not easy. So we need the tools to help us on the way. And screen, and that looks like it is frozen.
Is only the beginning of it. As the all values every culture, every race, and every tradition equally, you will have to throw away all your prejudices and opinions and live in an opinionless state. The all teaches you to accept everything that happens to you with an open mind and an open heart. And it teaches you to live in the present moment and let go of all the past, your traditions past, your teachers past, your country's past, even your own past. When you live completely in the all, you rise up each morning like a newborn babe greeting a fresh day. Nothing in your consciousness is fixed, and all of your consciousness is open to whatever the universe has to teach you. Then you will cease to seek teachers only amongst human beings or angels, realizing that any little creature, any flower, or any beautiful aspect of landscape or sky can teach you profound lessons as you tread your path. And in time you will come to value the everyday experiences of your daily life as your very best teachers. When you live in the harmony of the all, you are the friend of everyone and the enemy of no one. Even time will expand and contract to serve you. And you will begin to observe Father, Mother, God in everything you see. Seeing Father, Mother, God in everyone and everything that you encounter will change your perception of the sacred, and you will begin to find wisdom and perfection everywhere, even in apparent folly and chaos. If you should travel through a land in conflict, you will see only peace, and your presence will bless everyone you meet, for it will remind them of their own peace that comes from within. Rooted in the real, you will bring a glimpse of reality into every life you touch. Because the all contains all space and all time, it also transcends all space and all time. By attuning to the real, all knowledge and all wisdom can be assessed. But assessing knowledge and wisdom is one thing, and being able to absorb and apply it is another. When the consciousness reaches a certain level, the wisdom of that level becomes available to you, and you are able to retain it and use it because you are on the appropriate level to do so. If you access a level of wisdom beyond your level of consciousness, it will be slippery, like a fish, and will slide out of your mind before you can absorb and apply it.
So, yeah, I think we get a real feel for just how challenging this is going to be when we stop and think about this. I made a note for myself because I just kind of wanted to just take this couple of pieces at a time here. He said, looking at every kind of duality and living at the midway point of balance is only the beginning. So again, this is that balance and harmony piece we were talking about. And that is what you need to do in order to get through to this next section. You will have to throw away all your prejudices and opinions and live in an opinionless state. And yet, we are kind of conditioned and programmed to be judges of pretty much anything and everything. So to get to that place of opinionless state is quite a challenge. So if you think about the inner peace that it would bring, if you could get yourself to that place, that balancing point, and Jole's helped us with this as well, because when she was talking about the Ho'oponopono as a way of actually shedding the layers and being able to find that divine neutrality, and that is really powerful. But again, if you can get into that place of inner peace, if you think about how you could live your life in that way, what a blessing that would be. Instead of being concerned about the past, worried about the future, if you come more to living in the moment And that was one of the points that was made there as well. Living in the present and, waking up each day like a newborn babe where you've got not a care in the world and wondering what the universe is going to bring to you that day. It's nice to think it would be simple to do. But again, it's all about getting ourselves entrained to something completely different. So if you can no longer be triggered because you realize that everything is part of the all and the oneness of creation, right? And here's another reason why, this is important, this is a tough one really, because if you think about acts of genocide and things like that, which haven't happened in the world in recent times, you think, well, how can you just sit on the fence on something like that? And that's when the likes of the gift of the blessing that Greg Braden taught through last week. And again, for anybody who didn't see it and who want to see the gift of the blessing, and it also has a Mary Magdalene piece to build into that as well on love and fear, which really dovetails nicely with what Greg talks about. Again, the video there is actually in the details below as well. So you'll be able to sort of like check that out as well, because it's important that we actually get to become, if you like, if you can master your mind, you can master your reality. So, because what you've got to think of is what is like unto itself is drawn. Okay, that is the law of attraction. And so what we're saying is that the vibrations that you emit, and this is the way it works, right? So we have this, and I know if you think about Leonardo da Vinci, and he did the Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man and Vitruvian Woman, okay, with that big circle around it. That is kind of like if you think about your bubble of reality and the vibrations you put out into that, your own personal bubble of reality, is that it's the universe's job, which is a benevolent universe, is to be able to take the vibration of what you put out and amplify it and bring it back to you, because the assumption is what you put out is what you want to receive back. So if you put out fear, anger, division, and all the rest, you will be given more and more opportunities to feel fear, anger, and division. If you put out inner peace, love, harmony, that too will be amplified and that will come back to you in that form. So, okay, it's really worth getting into that central point, because that inner peace is then going to be amplified. You then become a beacon for the people around you who can also, they can feed off your energy is out there in the collective as well as you, for you individually. So then you become a beacon. And that's what we're all trying to achieve here, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all on this journey at the end of this planetary cycle, the shift of the ages. And we know things are changing around us. And we have to view life in a way that we've never been taught at all. Okay. So this is it now. This is the adventure. This is what we came here for, is to realize that there are numerous levels of consciousness available to us. And as it says at the end, you soon discover where your level of consciousness is, because when you listen to something like this, is it slippery like a fish and it will slip from your grasp because your consciousness is not yet ready for it? Or is it something that you're able to grasp and to absorb and to take internally and start to live that from the heart? Because that's the important thing, right? This is no longer duality of the mind. This is now the unity of the heart-based consciousness. So I think that, that is really something that is really important. So, Jolie, can I bring you in for your thoughts?
Of course, I think heart-based consciousness is where it's at. And you're like, well, I have to use my mind all day because we're focused on working and logic and working out things out. And if we leave something that's a mess or we leave something that's unorganized in this timeline, it messes us up. But how do you stay in a heart-based place? You focus on your breath, number one, right? Because once the mind and the body feel safe, you can then move into a place where silence is okay. Or if it requires a response, the response comes from a place of calm and neutrality. Now, we always know that my coach, she used to tell me all the time, um, what is it? It's the act of war is retaliation. So if somebody does something to you, the retaliation is considered the act of war, not the first strike. And as a parent, you see that sometimes in schools where you have the kid who was defending themselves is the one that gets suspended or in trouble, and the troublemaker kind of gets off scot-free. So that's kind of backwards, right?
Right, right.
Nevertheless, in this timeline, what's going on is that reaction needs to be one of unconditional love and acceptance, whatever that may be. Because like Ilario and, the commentary said, we are all a part of the oneness. So the experiences that others are having that maybe you don't want to have, you're having anyway, right? In a way, a
Mm,
part of you is having that experience. You don't necessarily have to live that, right?
mm,
We're all a part of the oneness. And I know people get caught up on that. Like there's people out here robbing banks, and doing much worse. Yeah, that's a part of the oneness that we've created as mass consciousness. Someone opened Pandora's box. So here we are. So how do we get more away from that? What we do is we focus in on what is working, what is good, and a wish fulfilled. And that is where our moon alchemy and meditation comes in. So you
mm.
want to ground your energy. Anything that is getting in the way of you being able to accept and not judge, you need to identify within your body. Because once you ground yourself in Mother Earth, you can get real. Like, what am I reacting to? Like, you can get real. And then you open up that crown and you allow for the higher self to talk to you. And you say things like, you know what? I get out of the way and I allow for my higher self to guide me. So you begin to get in conversation with the parts of you that are triggered or can help you unpack the trigger or, diffuse the trigger. So grounding your energy, opening up to the highest part of you by just visualizing your crown opening and a beautiful king or queen standing at the power position that knows exactly what to do is guiding you because you are the creator, you're part of the oneness, but you have to give that oneness shape and form so that it can guide you. So that's part of becoming neutral. You'll see some of your famous people go into a different personality when they get on stage or whatever. That's not what we're talking about. Okay. This is all a part of you. You have parts of you that you can then form that can help you guide you towards the light and your wish fulfilled. So those are just a few of the symbols and meditations you can do to sort of move you into divine neutrality in the moment, because that's what we're about, being able to deal with your emotions in real time. And not only that, to access the cycles of the earth and the moon so that you can then get in rhythm with that highest part of you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting actually. I was listening earlier or re-listening to a piece of work by Dr. David Clements, and what was really interesting. This was again his guides. The Arcturians, I think it was, uh, and they were talking about how humanity has been trained to live in the mind, right, and to believe that the mind is the important thing. And
Hmm.
they said in reality, and again, I'll use this analogy is kind of my analogy, but it's what came to me
Hmm.
when they were explaining this. It's like having the 5-year-old driving the car, right? Because your heart-based kind of consciousness is really what should always be driving the car. Yet we've been educated to say, oh, no, no, the 5-year-old goes behind the wheel and goes wherever you want to go. That's what the mind does. It's the duality, right? So
Right.
I just found that a really interesting way of looking at it. And this is the time where we're actually getting back out of that duality of the mind and back into the heart. So, yeah.
It's very interesting because when you're a part of the oneness, you're guided by something. You're guided by the highest part of you, right? And that sometimes I believe is in the flow, and the heart is the flow. I mean, I do believe it sets the rhythm or the pace that the mind or the brain then wants to follow. And we
Mm,
have learned it backwards because the heart knows. It knows when someone is not being true. It knows when somebody's being sincere. It is what, I do believe it's an integration, but it's the body that feels it, and the heart is
Mhm.
very much a part of that. Your aura layer, I think the energy comes in and moves throughout. So really working in the heart, because I started there, but working in the heart is important. We want to clean it out. So when you ground, just know that heartbreak, pain, you can turn that a color. Flush it down your grounding cord, golden sun above your head, fill it up with gold light. And you keep doing that. And after a while, you will notice, I'm not thinking about that anymore. Oh my God, I don't want to call him or her. It becomes a lot easier to live in peace.
Yes. Yes, it does. And this is the learning journey we're on, you know. And again,
Yeah.
I would always emphasize, and Ilariel says the same thing, like when we've been through this before, is this is not an easy journey. Anybody should not take it that this is something that is simple to do because we know we've been programmed. We know that the brain has been, and the masculine energy is dominated for thousands upon thousands of years. And again, now we're moving back to divine feminine as well. So that's where we go back to an energy of collaboration and the dropping away of the ego. So
Yes. The
it's
creativity. Really. And the dropping away of the ego would mean to really get involved in something and begin to add value, even if it's just in your life. Like hobbies are great, they build character, develop the mind, so, and then once you establish that, meditation is a hobby, you can see it that way. I mean, it's a way of life, but it can begin that way. And then guess what? That moves out into your environment. So
yes.
self-development and self-work is completely different from selfishness, but you've got to kind of work that out within you.
Yeah.
We,
Yes, this is very true. So, okay, so I reckon we should be heading towards the
yes,
second section now.
absolutely.
Okay, a couple of things to mention before that I should have mentioned earlier. But basically, just to say the Elevated Planet is a donation-based channel. And therefore, if anybody would care to help us in that regard, we will be exceptionally grateful. There is our PayPal details in the details below. I think there's a super chat function this week as well. But either way, anybody who can spare some money to help support us, then we are always very, very grateful. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe as well, because that's how we build out our subscriber base. Because we don't measure very highly on the YouTube algorithm, but at the same time, we're looking for people like-minded kind of people who can get this message, because we know it's not necessarily a mainstream message, but at the end of the day, anybody you feel can get value from this, please do share away. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention before we go into this second part is about this book here, which is the Magdalene version from which this is based. And I mentioned about Alariel. So those who follow us generally will already know about Alariel. But Alariel is an angel who is one of the 12 angels that supports the Melchizedek energies and Melchizedek consciousnesses wherever they go in the universe, right? Because it's not just for Earth, but they've worked very closely with those groups, that to help in the education, to help with raising conscious awareness. And that is what the angels were there, these 12 angels were there to support the Melchizedek consciousness. And apparently they are now also reassigned to a degree to help the crystal children, the rainbow children, the indigos, and the super psychic children to actually help the rest of humanity to step in, because a lot of those children, they're light conceived, which means that they can hold a higher level of consciousness within them, and therefore these angels are also assigned to them as well. I told you this is not a mainstream message, is it? But anyway, so the Magdalene version is very, very highly recommended. It's Stuart Wilson and Joanna Prentice. Very, very good. Joanna Prentice is the hypnotic regressionist, and Stuart Wilson is the channel for Alariel, amongst others. And honestly, I mean, Stuart himself, I think he was born in 1937, if memory serves. And he was born to a lady who was, during the 1930s, one of the most well-known psychic mediums in London, which was an era obviously before, we see that more prevalent now. But you can see where his gifts come from, having that as a pedigree, kind of growing up and not being conditioned and programmed to believe it's woo-woo nonsense. Stuart's done a fantastic job of spreading the work along with Joanna in the books that they've created. So we've focused a lot of energy on that. Anyway, needed to say that before we go back into this Mary Magdalene second part. So this is a part of the same final summary, the last 8 minutes of actually no, oneness and the all, the last little section here, and then we come back to discuss it again. So bear with me a second, we are going to switch screens.
The most important thing you can say about the all is that it is not dual in nature. In a non-dual state, all judgments are transcended in a consciousness that rises up to see the oneness that exists beyond the illusion of duality. When you rise in consciousness and see the bigger picture, all the warring duality of this world seems like a sham, a distorted dream that has no roots in the real. In that reality, what exists is one essence, one supreme consciousness. When you realize that you are of the same essence as the great archangel, you begin to sense your true nature as a child of the light. And when you begin to understand that all is light, all is spirit, your consciousness starts to change. Then you begin to see the essence of Father, Mother, God moving out across the universe in great waves of life and growth and expanding consciousness. Then you can see how life can change, moving up through all the kingdoms so that consciousness moves slowly as a rock, quickens as a plant, awakens as an animal, and when a human soul is created, expands into the faster rhythm and deeper awareness of human life. Then you will know that all living things are your brothers and sisters, and all life contains the essence of Father, Mother, God. From this understanding, certain principles emerge. 1. Only Father, Mother, God exists. Everything and every being in the universe contains the divine essence. 2. That essence exists at first only in potential, and it is realized through the expansion of consciousness. 3. The divine essence moves in waves of creation through all the kingdoms of life, culminating in the human kingdom. 4. On planetary systems where there is free will, beings may choose for a time to move away from the light. 5. There is no sin, only a moving away from Father, Mother, God, and a returning to the divine. 6. The journey of the soul upon earth is a process of learning and growing, an opportunity to respond to love and experience joy. 7. The universe is a vast web of integrated beingness, unified by energy and linked by consciousness, so all are within the one, and the one is present within all life forms. When you first encounter the all, it may seem like a vast emptiness. Do not be deceived into thinking there is nothing there. No form exists there, no image, no idea, no thing, but there is a supreme and unifying consciousness. Because this supreme consciousness is the same for you and me and any being, it is essentially one and is not divided. Your lower awareness may perceive this supreme consciousness as placed within many beings, many forms, but that individual awareness is looking at the all from the standpoint of illusion. In truth, there is no separation, no division, no manyness. Only oneness of consciousness in which you and all other beings share equally. Nothing in the all can ever be threatened or diminished, for if you took away something from the all, there would be the all and something that has been taken away. This would be duality, and duality is the great illusion. Ignore the many faces of illusion and live serenely in the all. Behold, your individual ascension is part of the ascension of the earth, and the earth's ascension is part of the ascension of the universe, and the universe's ascension is part of the ascension of the all. But although the time to speak of the ascension of the all has not yet come, each soul ascending into the light brings forward the day when the seals will be opened, and the truth of this ultimate ascension will be given. So go forward with courage into the light, knowing that you are part of a divine plan, vaster than any human mind can imagine, and more full of joy than any human heart can understand.
So, again, Mary Magdalene wisdom at its finest. And again, the challenge continues. But one of the things that really, this brings to mind when I've listened to this is there is a quote here from Lao Tzu, right? Part of his work, which is and this is something I keep constantly on my desk down here because I read it every now and again, almost just wanting to draw this into myself because this is really what this summary is about as I see it. And it's entitled The Master's Power is Like This. He lets all things come and go effortlessly without desire. He never expects results, thus he is never disappointed. He is never disappointed, thus his spirit never grows old. Tolerant like the sky, all-pervading like sunlight, firm like a mountain, supple like a tree in the wind. He has no destination in view and makes use of anything life happens to bring his way. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. And that is Lao Tzu wisdom right there. And that draws an interesting parallel, which actually does get discussed in, again, the book, right? The Magdalene version, about the commonality between Zen and the Gnosticism. Okay. So it's almost like Gnostic Zen, which makes sense because when you think about it, Mary Magdalene spent maybe around 18 years studying in the mystery school, the Isis mystery school. Yeshua spent the same amount of time traveling the world, but spending an awful lot of time really in the Far East, sort of in the India and Tibet area, learning all the Eastern traditions. So when you think about it, by the time they got together, then she was the high priestess in the Isis tradition. Yeshua was a high priest in the Eastern traditions in particular, and they would spend a lot of time exchanging the knowledge that they had shared. And obviously, we talked about this last week. When you reach that level of consciousness, it's quite an achievement. But to have two, a high priest and a high priestess at that level, working together, divine feminine and divine masculine, that is enormously powerful. So that is why when you listen to these teachings, you can kind of see where East meets West. So I think there is no surprise there. And if you look at the main tenets of Zen philosophy and you look at the main tenets of Gnosticism, absolutely, there are absolute parallels between the two. So I find that really interesting. And the other thing is when it's talking about the consciousness shifts are the biggest. I mean, as humans, we are shifting up in consciousness now. That's where we're heading because we are heading to the new earth, fifth dimensional kind of place rather than to the third dimensional density that we have been in. So that upshift is coming our way right now. But the biggest shifts are the consciousness shifts from rock to plant, plant to animal, animal to human. Okay. And what's interesting is that I believe we've all been on that particular journey because, again, as a big fan of Dolores Cannon over many years now, you kind of find that when she was doing hypnotic regression, the number of times where people would be the ocean, they'd be a rock, and they'd talk about what it was like to be a rock. And, nothing much was going on, but it was a place of serenity. But it was part of the growth of consciousness, starting from what we would consider an inanimate object, whereas in reality, there is movement all the time. And, we know that to be true. But then also other people would associate with lives either as plants or maybe even I remember there was one where a woman just came back into her life as a little yellow worm. It was a fantastic, it was a real adventure. But I mean, the hypnotic regression client themselves in this somnambulistic trance where they have their consciousness is no longer a blocker. They relive these memories, and you realize this is the path we've all gone through. We didn't all start at a human level. And I do believe as well that, and I've heard this from so many sources, if you are here on the planet right now, you're effectively already a master, because to be here you have to almost have reached that level already, which is why you are coming here for the shift of the ages. How exciting is this, right? And I know, yeah, there's a lot of density and polarity that we're encouraged into out there. This is all part of the journey. This is part of the game, and keeping it playful is really important as well. So, everything here about oneness and the all, I think, is a real vital part of where we're heading. We need to find that midway point, to find the balance, to find divine neutrality, to be able to look out at areas of conflict. And rather than getting triggered, you can be that calm amongst the storm that actually brings that energy. And again, a bit like we do with the Pan meditations, we don't focus on the suffering, we focus on the solutions. We focus on the energies that we want other people to feel, and therefore by so doing we're affecting the quantum wave structure, we are affecting the group consciousness, and the more of it that us are doing that together in coordination, the closer we get to our world of unspeakable beauty, which is our destiny. I've said it all for the moment, and I'm going to bring Jolie back in for your thoughts on that.
I think you summed it up quite nicely. The whole bridge of unspeakable beauty to me within, and you think about what does that mean? Unspeakable beauty, but it's opening up that portal from the heart to the mind and really getting in synergy and integration, just like the Gnostic inner, and the Zen, and within you creating that bridge so that then what? It projects out and it comes back. So whenever you're stuck in that mind meld and you have, what do they call it? Couch lock or analysis paralysis, you got to bring it down into the heart and breathe into it. And then get up. It's a 5-minute exercise. People think, that you come to this place that I'm here. And I know I was in such a dark place. And my good friend, Lori Lamson, would say, just 5 minutes. Give it 5 minutes. And then if you don't want to do it after that, you don't have to do it. I mean, that's the hole I was in, like 5-minute increments into where I could get to a place where now I can sit down, I can meditate, and I can sit in a space of joy. But it took work, and it takes consistent working with yourself, writing in your journal, doing some of these things, grounding your energy, looking at these symbols, breathing deeply, taking it with you everywhere you go. And one of the other things that really pushed me forward a lot was physical exercise. I cannot talk enough about how having a consistent practice of moving your body does so much for the heart and the mind and getting those in sync. Like that right there is its own Zen and Gnostic integration within you,
Yeah.
is exercising and staying with that discipline over long periods of time and getting into a rhythm with your body. That right there is like 50 to 75% of my healing. I'm telling you, just moving around, and then the meditation and the and doing exercises and listening to Napoleon Hill or Joe Dispenza at the same time you're doing it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm here to tell you, if any of you, workout warriors, I'm here for you. I love you. I cherish you because you're what helped me heal
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
well.
no, it's
Big,
it,
huge
it's
part of it.
it certainly is important. And to that point about, defining a world of unspeakable beauty, okay? Everybody will have their own version of that. But it comes back
Correct.
to that conversations with God, where, God was outlining the fact that we are the creators of our own destiny. So what
Yes.
do we choose for it to look like? I know what my version of a world of unspeakable beauty looks like, and it involves all of us. It involves us as a
Yes.
community. It involves us moving forward and stepping into the light, and it's a place of unspeakable beauty. I'm just so excited for it, and I know it happens. So yeah, but
Yeah.
everybody is entitled to their own version because we're all creator beings.
Yes, that is true. But if we're looking at it in a technical way, I guess, opening up that portal between the heart and the
Absolutely.
mind allows for more of that energy to give you common sense, decency, and the things that you character to get through some of these moments,
Yeah,
in real time. It's really about the choices we make in the moment, in the present moment, that determine 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. So we really are about being present and being neutral so that the choices we make, they not only help us, but they also add value.
yeah. Yep. And again, you mentioned it earlier about the moon alchemy meditation side of things as well. And we'll come back with more detail on that in due course again. But that is really about helping us to master our mind, we master our reality. And that
Correct.
really is what it's all about. And you create your own world of unspeakable beauty through that process. And
Exactly.
that's the whole point of it. And if anybody does have any, any questions on that, just drop me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life and I can tell you what it's all about. We're working on the Moon Alchemy Journal right now, which will actually support that as well. So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
And for those that are wanting more of how to feel and see and get into the energy of a wish fulfilled, Jose Silva and his whole thing is really good about being able to concentrate, sit in the moment, and a wish fulfilled, and bring that energy in, because that is so important. We don't think about that enough because we're too busy. If we're in the moment, we're usually solving, doing something. So to get to really sit in doing that, whatever it is you're doing, and seeing a whole different experience around you. You're sweeping the floor, but what kind of floor are you sweeping? What kind of broom are you using? That is sitting in the energy of a wish fulfilled, at the moment.
Yeah. 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 So what do you reckon? Should we head to the next section?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. So we're going to go back. This section is like based off what we've heard from Mary Magdalene, Oneness and the All. It's broken down by the angel Alariel and also by Stuart Wilson, who again is the channel for Alariel. But again, his experience of these things over decades is so good, so strong, that he's really able to add a perspective here that is important. So we're going to switch screens once again and hear what they have to say about oneness and the all.
Commentary by Alariel. Here Mary reveals the full majestic sweep of her philosophy, but notice how controversial this is. The idea that all things and beings in the universe contain God is certainly pantheism, a perception that was denounced by the Church as heresy. Yet such is the gentle power and wise authority of Mary Magdalene that these Magdalene summaries can be accepted as the deep and transcendent truth of things. A truth that makes much more sense and leads to a much greater understanding of life than the simplistic version presented by the Church. Comment by Stuart. Mary only uses the word behold once in all these Magdalene summaries, so we know that here she is about to reveal information of the highest level and the greatest significance. This is Mary Magdalene as prophet and seer, gazing into future time and bringing back a clear vision to inspire and guide us. So intense is the drama at this point at the very end of this last Magdalene summary that we can almost sense those who heard her being spurred into a more intense level of concentration. For here she projects way into the future and relates that future to the process of individual ascension. However dramatic that may have been when Mary spoke these words 2,000 years ago, the present situation gives it an even sharper relevance, for we have reached a point at the end of the planetary cycle when transition for both individual human beings and planet Earth is imminent. And at this point, we are taking a big step forward towards this ultimate goal of the whole creation, the ascension of the All. The ascension of the All is mentioned in the Gnostic text called Pistis Sophia on page 433 in the Hertak translation. The session with Alariel continues. Alariel, it may seem strange to present the human kingdom as the culminating factor of all the waves of creation, especially now that humanity is struggling with so much illusion and chaos. But the truth is that from this point on, the whole arc of your spiritual development will stay within the human kingdom as a broad category of classification. However advanced and subtle your consciousness may become, the really big shifts are those from rock to plant, plant to animal, and animal to human. And kingdom is therefore a good description of those major stages. Comment by Stuart. Now we can see these Magdalene summaries as a whole. We can assess where they stand, and one thing becomes instantly clear. We are entering new territory in these Magdalene summaries. This isn't Christianity. This is not religion of any kind. It is something quite different. Something that the poet Tagore once called the allness of the universe. This is pure mystery school teaching with light as the central symbol, and the key here is the source of the teaching. At one point, Mary advises her listeners to be open to whatever the universe has to teach you. For the emergent Christian church, the teaching is done by the church, the priest, the scripture. But for Mary, it is the universe. And the combination of the earthly mother and the heavenly father can indeed be perceived as the universe. See how true Mary was to her Essene roots, but notice also how she built up upon this foundation and drawing upon her training as a high priestess of Isis. She was able to lift this teaching up to a higher level. Here you are seeing the elements within Essene philosophy being transmuted into a higher, simpler, and more universal wisdom. This is Mary Magdalene as alchemist, lifting up the Essene impulse from the highest level of Gnostic achievement.
So, one of the things I found really interesting about this as well, I mean, again, the perspective added by Stuart and Alariel is really, it just says it all, which I think is fantastic. One of the things that was mentioned there was about the Pistis Sophia, which were actually the Yeshua teachings of the disciples in the 11 years following his resurrection, which also coincidentally, when we're talking about this oneness and the all, that was 11 years. That was the final one, 11 years after the resurrection of Yeshua. So strange that coincidental, synchronistic, whatever, that both sets of teachings finished some 11 years after the resurrection. Now, also within the Pistis Sophia, those Yeshua teachings talked about, he had one which was entitled The Ascension of the All. So oneness and the all, the ascension of the all, you can see that there's going to be a lot of similarities between the two. So it's going to be an interesting exploration to dig under the surface of the Pistis Sophia, because up until a couple of weeks ago, well, probably about a month ago, I had no idea what that was. But it's Yeshua's teachings. And again, it comes down to this forbidden knowledge. It comes down to things like the Nag Hammadi texts. It comes down to a book that was found in fact, it was purchased, I think, back in 1785 by a British library, and it was all in Coptic, and nobody could translate Coptic at the time. Eventually, it got translated, and that was also the Yeshua teachings. So it's come to us at a time that is deliberate, okay? It's almost like they've been on time release so that we can start to gather this knowledge now, because it helps us get up those seven different stages of consciousness, which help us to then make the transition into the new earth, into our world of unspeakable beauty. And this is really exciting. So, with that said, Jole, can I bring you back in again for your thoughts, please?
Yes, the Pistis Sophia is very interesting. And isn't it what how you talk about the time release of some of these um spiritual activations or these secrets, knowledge and wisdom opening up. So it's fascinating. So how do we open up to receive this? Because it's energetic. Sometimes it's through, like, there's a book, I think, the Pistis Sophia, you can read, and there's the Nag Hammadi, and there's many things out there. What is it? Hermes Trismegistus has written that
Absolutely.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kybalion or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
So there are things out there to gather that knowledge and wisdom, but to really take it on and to be able to apply it, as Alario spoke about, means getting into what does it mean? Getting in nature, listening to your higher self, having some type of ritual, or I don't want to say that freaks people out, but some type of practice to where you can connect with that and hear the voices, yourself, your creator, open up as a channel of light and blessings, activate these chakras and hear what the universe is teaching you. That's how our ancients and our ancestors did it, tapping into that ancestral wisdom, taking time out to just sit for a minute and commune with your ancestors and ask them for guidance. These things are saying an affirmation, having some symbol that has you locking in. These things help. And being conscious and aware of them, it's like, this is what people talk about, having superpowers or the energy of manifestation or being able to move things, at your will. It takes practice, but it is a possibility. It is here for us to access. So expand by what? Letting go, getting neutral.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the era where these revelations come back to us. We once again realize we all have superpowers. We are all
Yes.
creators. We all have Yeshua's Christ consciousness within us. Should we choose to activate it, it is always a choice. This is a free will planet. But for everybody now, there will be an opportunity to see if the time is right for them to access that and to grow in consciousness and expand in consciousness, because we are all part of the same, right? That's it. Oneness is all about that. Oneness is all of consciousness and creation. We are all of that. It's just that in this individuated expression of consciousness that is John Drew, this is my specific journey. And I'm loving
Yes.
the journey. But at the end of the day, I also honor the fact that everybody has a right to their own journeys, that they see things the way they desire to see them, and whether they go to the dark rather than the light. That is not something I judge against. I just choose my own path.
Right.
So,
Exactly. And having the wherewithal and the confidence, working with that third chakra so that you can stand on your choice to go on your own path. That is also something that the universe or your environment will help you block if you're not careful, because of all of the rhetoric we talked about, the judgment, the opinions. So being able to sit within you and know that what your higher self and your energy is saying to you is right, and to stand in that, it's a beautiful thing, but it does take strength, confidence, and practice.
yes. Yes, it's an inside job. We need to
Yes,
build in the practice, and talking about building a practice, guided meditations are a very good source of that.
correct.
And do you think we head towards the guided meditation right now?
Absolutely.
So this is now going to be taking another little piece of Alarial wisdom here to lead us into Jole's words of wisdom within the meditation itself, to help us to embody everything that we are learning here today. So if you bear with me a second, we are going to switch screens for one last time, and therefore we will be immersed in that very shortly. Here we go.
When you live in the harmony of the all, you are the friend of everyone and the enemy of no one. even time will expand and contract to serve you. And you will begin to observe Father, Mother, God in everything you see. Seeing Father, Mother, God in everyone and everything that you encounter will change your perception of the sacred, and you will begin to find wisdom and perfection everywhere, even in apparent folly and chaos. If you should travel through a land in conflict, you will see only peace, and your presence will bless everyone you meet, for it will remind them of their own peace that comes from within. Rooted in the real, you will bring a glimpse of reality into every life you touch. Because the all contains all space and all time, it also transcends all space and all time. By attuning to the real, all knowledge and all wisdom can be assessed. But assessing knowledge and wisdom is one thing, and being able to absorb and apply it is another. When the consciousness reaches a certain level, the wisdom of that level becomes available to you, and you are able to retain it and use it because you are on the appropriate level to do so. If you access a level of wisdom beyond your level of consciousness, it will be slippery, like a fish, and will slide out of your mind before you can absorb and apply it.
Take a deep breath in. Put your feet flat on the floor, your palms face up on your thighs. Bring your awareness to your chest and begin to breathe with the rhythm of your body. Just feel so much gratitude and unconditional love for who you are, for your environment, for Mother Earth, for all your past experiences, and have gratitude for your present moment and your future. And from this space of gratitude and love, we're going to ground our energy into Mother Earth by visualizing a beautiful grounding cord of a natural earth element grounding into Mother Earth. The visualization, it's 6 inches in diameter of a natural earth element connected to your first chakra, which is between your sit bones. And as you visualize this grounding cord moving through the layers of Mother Earth, you visually see the shale, the oil, the stalagmites, stalactites, and you get into the ocean and you can feel the convection as you move through the floor of the ocean and you go down, 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 and you root yourself into the core of Mother Earth. Mother Earth just gives you so much love. And those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles blanket the inside and the outside of your grounding cord, cleaning off what no longer serves: low vibration, energy, judgments, opinions, expectations, programming. Just let those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles clean off your grounding cord, all the way from the top to the bottom. And this signals your aura layer to pull itself in, to be 1.5 feet around you. That's 18 inches in circumference all around you. 18 inches in front of you, behind you, to the right, to the left of you, and above and below you. Yes, part of your aura goes into Mother Earth. And then your astral body snaps itself into your physical body. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and allow for your astral body to settle into your physical body, fitting inside of you like a hand fits inside of a glove. And as you take another deep breath in, and on the exhale, all of the information that the astral body retrieved while you were sleeping is now being downloaded into your cells. Your higher self standing at the power position above your crown, a comfortable distance, you having access to your higher self and its information at any time. We're going to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to visualize the bottoms of our feet opening like the lens of a camera. And we call in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you. 15%. Your higher self, your spirit, your body knows. Just command it to be so, and it happens. And once the earth energy begins to flow through your lower body, your crown opens like the lens of a camera. And that's the signal for that 85% cosmic gold life force energy to come cascading down from the heavens, raining down on your higher self, focusing in as it pours into your crown. Just feel that beautiful, positive life force energy pour in with all of the ancient secrets and the knowledge and the wisdom. And when it meets with that earth energy at your first chakra, it activates the integration of earth energy and cosmic life force energy of creation, unlocks the mysteries within you and begins to fill you up like water fills up a cup. And as you visualize this, breathe with the rhythm of your body and lead this energy from a place of love by bringing your awareness to your chest and dictating where this energy goes. Is it fast or is it slow? Is it going into your joints? It's going everywhere, but where are you focusing this energy from a heart-centered space as it moves up, up, up through your core, into your arms and your hands? It begins to sprout out of your hands as it moves up into your head, sprouting out of the crown, filling up your aura layer, releasing and resolving, disintegrating anything you're ready to let go of and release, anything that's keeping you in a place of judgment, criticism, where you feel like your opinion matters more than the oneness. So as this high frequency and vibrational energy of Mother Earth and the divine come together and move throughout your body, anything that no longer serves you, anything that fails to match this frequency, anything that takes you from one end of the polarity to the other, we're going to turn a bright red within our bodies. We're going to see this judgment energy within us by turning it a bright red. And we're flushing it, allowing for Mother Earth and divine life force energy to go into these spaces and places, liquefying this energy as it's being sent down our grounding cord or disintegrated by the high vibration and frequency of these two energies meeting within us. Move out the judge, the jury. Move out the criticizer, constructive or otherwise. Move out the opinionated observer who decides it wants to sit on the sidelines and watch others play the game. Move that energy out of you as the Creator puts a golden sun above your head. That golden life force energy that is pouring down formulates into this beautiful golden sun And it's calling all of your energy back from the moments and the places where you judged and criticized and were opinionated. And we're just calling our energy back from what we flushed down our grounding cord. And then this golden sun moves through our higher self and then breaks into 50 trillion pieces and comes into our crown, merging with all of the atoms and the cells in our body, replacing that energy with one of beauty, love, joy, and of course, unspeakable beauty and unconditional love and joy. Let's be specific as this energy moves throughout our body. And we're going to open up our brow like the lens of a camera as we breathe with the rhythm of our body. And we're going to put 2 roses 5 feet outside our aura to the right and to the left of us. And a beautiful golden sun above our head with our name on the front and the back in a high-powered magnet. And all of the judgment and the criticism we've received or given, all of the people, the places, and the things that are crowding our mind. We're thinking about what they did and what they said and how they're doing it. We're going to go ahead and move all of that energy out of our mind and into those roses outside our aura layer as we call all our energy back into that golden sun above our head. And while this is taking place, we're visualizing our most loving good. We're sitting in a wish fulfilled. The energy, we're surrounded by beauty and joy and laughter as we call all our energy back. We give up the judgment, the criticism, and we get into divine neutrality and focus and concentration on our own most loving good. See it, feel it as you breathe with the rhythm of your body. And that highest part of you works out that polarity and brings in so much divine neutrality and unconditional love just flowing through your body as you call all your energy back and you get rid of those baggages and those blocks and you just receive so much love and so much joy and all of that ancestral wisdom comes back. You're being absorbed into that golden sun above your head and you're remembering who you are at your highest and most loving, your most fun, your most beautiful, your most abundant, youthful, motivated, energetic. It just is all coming back to you in every way. As you just get rid of the baggage, you put it in those roses outside your aura, pull it out of the brow, pull it out of the heart, pull it out of the throat, pull it out of the root, pull it out of the second chakra, the third, pull it out of your power and call all your energy back. And if the roses are too full, move them out, blow them up, turn them into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use. And another set of roses are there to take it all in. Give it. Give it up. Let it go. Release it down your grounding cord. Pull it out and put it in those roses outside your aura and call all your energy back into that golden sun above your head, knowing you are rooted and grounded into Mother Earth, receiving all of those blessings and gifts and remembrance from the ancestors as that golden life force energy fills up that sun, moves through it down the higher self into your crown, mixing in with that earth energy, releasing and resolving dis-ease, illness, dysregulation moving out of your body, trauma and abuse as you're filled up with cold light and earth energy, all that you need to create that energy that you are visualizing. Take a deep breath in exhale as this essence sprouts out your feet, hands, crown chakras, filling up your aura layer with so much unconditional love and unspeakable beauty. And this essence of Mother Earth has reached, and divine has reached a critical mass that it is flowing throughout every vein, artery, muscle, bone, and cell within your body and your aura layer. Take a deep breath in, exhale. See and sit in the energy of a wish fulfilled as you visualize your most loving good, your unspeakable beauty, and you feel the laughter, the joy around you. As you are whole, that golden sun above your head is filled with all of your energy. If it was harvested, it's now back at you. As you then give those roses outside your aura layer an energetic push about 10 feet away from you, blow them up, turn them into positive creative life force energy, fireworks, beautiful. And then see your higher self reach up, pull that golden sun down through itself, and then gently goes into your crown as it breaks into 50 trillion little circular cells, merging with every atom and cell in your body, moving out into your aura layer, going down your grounding cord, chasing those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles into the core of Mother Earth, where they disintegrate, turning into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use. And as that cold light and your energy signature goes down into Mother Earth with so much gratitude, so much love, and she returns it, and just feel what it feels like to sit in that unconditional love and unspeakable beauty of your creation, and absorbing all the memories and the secrets of the ancients and your ancestors, filling you up, powering your character, your confidence, your safety, your security, your abundance, merging with all of the laws of the universe, aligning with them as you breathe with the rhythm of your body, knowing you are worthy and deserving to live this life. So now, from a heart-centered space, take a deep breath in. So you're breathing in so much love. The air just takes on this heart shape and it moves throughout every cell of your body, solidifying this new energy, expanding out into your aura and your environment. As you take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to close our feet, our hands, and our crown chakras. And we're going to take another deep breath in. And we're going to close our brow chakra on the exhale and allow for all this energy to settle in. Take another deep breath in and just relax and let it go on the exhale. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
And we are back. Just get
Yes,
my
we
video
are.
pointing in the right. Thank you, Jolie. That was beautiful.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
an honor. Yes, it's a privilege to do this work. Thank you.
Well, it really helped us to embody those messages for today, and I am very grateful for that because I just do think that this is a really important part of where we're heading. You know, this oneness and the all, this balance and harmony that we talked about last week. You know, this is all pointing us in the right direction, but it's exciting because there's still so much more to explore. You know, this is this is just the edge of where we're heading, and I find it really fascinating. It's a great journey. I mean,
Yes,
it
it
just
is.
feels like an honor to be on this journey.
Yes. And when we feel more of that, it becomes more of that, right? It's just the unfolding of um the beauty and the blessings around you, just they just keep happening when we come from a place of gratitude and sit in our heart.
100%. Yeah, it is. Again, we talked about that. We all have our own little bubble of creation, and the vibrational energy that we put out there attracts similar energetic vibrations in return, amplified. So, yeah, when we're focused on the beauty of the world around us, the beauty, the excitement of the opportunity that we've been given, then we will be given more reasons to get excited about that journey. So, how good is that?
Yes.
Mm.
It's amazing. And it is. And just know that when you have these negative moments and loops, that's not you. That's something outside of you that has infiltrated you like a parasite. So just get it out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really important point, actually. The mind parasites, they're out there and they feed on people when you're at a low point. And let's face it, this
Yes.
human experience is all about, it is the roller coaster. We get that.
Hmm.
And quite often, regardless of what path we're on, we'll always have the opportunity to disappear into fear, anger, and worry at some point. Um, but that's when we're more vulnerable to these things as well, because it's not necessarily us, it's this external agent in there. And as you say, Jolie, the ability to know and to identify and to be able to, and I love the
Right.
fact that you do this, it's like the literal physical pulling out of the energy.
Yeah. And putting it in a rose outside your aura, filling it up with gold light. And it didn't take 5 minutes to get here. It took years and years and years and years of consistent hearing things over and over again. So it takes consistent. Let me pull this out. Ugh, I don't feel good. Let me pull it out of my heart. Pull it out. I physically do this to myself when I'm watching movies or things are happening. I'm pulling energy out. Yeah, gold light.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
works. It
yeah.
works.
No, and I think there's something really profound to that as well. Actually, the physical movements to
Hmm.
help with just the mental process and maybe the verbal process. But I think
Yes.
and off the back of that, I've started doing certain things like whether it's a protection thing, and I'm kind of shaping out the protection in this.
Yes. Yes, it really works and it helps. And I want to remind people again in rough situations where you're uncomfortable, put roses around your aura layer. Just say roses up. Your higher self knows exactly what that means and will put roses up around your aura. Give it a few minutes and things will start to flow a little easier. If they don't, do it again until they do.
Mm. Well, I know Ronnie, who is closely associated with
Yes.
Elevator Planet, has mentioned a number of times that you taught her that, and it has saved her so many times.
Yeah.
So, it absolutely works. So trust
Mhm.
it, just get into the practice of doing it. And, all these things help to elevate your frequency and stop you from descending into things that you'd rather not be part of. So,
Yes, exactly. And we're so grateful to be here. I think we should wrap it up because John, you and I could be here all day talking about these things, but we know that there's other things to do in this
yes,
timeline.
indeed.
So just
Yeah,
don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you like what you hear and you feel this could help someone. And know that any help that you can do to donate to our PayPal is just so we're thankful, we're grateful, and it'll help us keep the lights on.
yes. And in fact, I did see a PayPal notification during the show. So thank you,
Thank
whoever that
you.
came from. Thank you, thank you, thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Thank you so
Really
much.
appreciate it. And for everybody who's with us now, I thank you for your patience because we had a lot of freeze frame issues at the start of the show. The edited version that goes out will be perfect. It will be none of that whatsoever. So that will be the one to go back to. And we will always add extra images as well to help to support the discussion that took place. So, yeah, and then that will be available within a few hours. I will make sure it's made available as quickly as possible because of the freeze frame on the live. Um, but beyond that, we'll be sending the newsletter out tomorrow. So anybody who wants to join our newsletter distribution list, John Drew at elevatedplanet.life gets you on that email distribution list. And that where we also showcase the live show with it broken down into sections. And yeah, I think that's about it, really. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, thank you to everybody in the community for being part of everything that we're doing. We really truly value you. We also truly value your presence at the Pam Gregory guided meditation on Thursdays as well. And again, we now do a recorded version, which means that it's available 7 days a week because it's a daily practice. So anybody who wants to leap on that, please do so at your leisure. And that is always going to be on the Elevated Planet channel. So, other than that, thank you again, Jolie, as always.
Thank you, John. And thank you, all the viewers that tuned in. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
indeed. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, we will see you in a few days. Take care. Lots of love.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.